So sit back, relax, and enjoy as we continue with Higurashi When They Cry How Plus. Alright. From what I can see, the office of the Sonozaki group still seems to be safe. Mia and the others had traveled along the building's wall, stopped at one to point to pick up some opera glasses, to use them as binoculars. After a bit of surveillance, they had a good idea of what actions they could take near the walls, as well as the movements of the surrounding rioters. Figures they'd be behaving the same as Hinamizawa's neighborhood watch. They take up positions hiding behind the barricades, but every time they hear something, they shout and race toward it in a rampage. It's ridiculous that they think they're acting reasonably. But now we know their behavior patterns. It also means we're at their hottest they were at their hottest back when we first ran into them. It's not like they're racing around all the time. Right. For us, that's big news all on its own. For Wei, we'll be unable to do anything without crossing this river. Any further without crossing. So we go quietly, or we go loudly? One or the other. Let's use the cover at night to sneak across. They'll probably set up watches, but it'll still be easier than in broad daylight. We're lucky your injury's lighter than we thought. So that we have time on our side. Most of the pain from Mion's injury came from the pain of joints and tendons that she sprained while protecting Reina. Fortunately, the wounds that caused bleeding were all shallow. What are you going to do, One-chan? You coming with us? It'll probably be a little lonely here waiting for help that may never come. Everyone else said the same thing before leaving and getting killed, didn't they? I can understand how you feel. It's not like I don't want to leave here because it's scary. Do you trust us? It's not that I don't. The more I watch you all in action, the less it feels dangerous to stay with you. Every one of our club members is strong individually, but together we're invincible. If you're willing to trust us, then we'll definitely protect you. Though that assumes some guarantee that the Sonozaki Group's office is safer than it is here. That's not an issue. They keep all kinds of emergency reserves in there so they can hole up if anything bad happens. Your family is seriously good at preparing for things. Our family's policy is to finish fights by the time they start. We owe you for saving us, Une-san, so we'll repay that debt to you. We'll make sure to bring you somewhere safe. It's not like I'm happy. That little girl was stuck all alone in this unprecedented disaster. Of course she'd be anxious. At first we thought she was silent and expressionless, but she was slowly opening up to our energetic club members. This young girl wasn't originally the silent type. She just closed her heart off a bit, in order to protect her from the shock of this disaster. Where's your home, Une-chan? It's not like I lived in this town. Huh? Then where's your home? Don't tell me you got caught up in this mess while you were hanging out with someone in Okonomiya. You must have been real worried. Is it far from here? It's not close, but all the bridges are broken and I can't get home. I see. That's so sad. But there's one Blah. But there's one fortunate thing about that. Right, I suppose there is. It means that your family's not caught in this uproar, so they're all safe. Isn't that right? That's right. That was the one saving grace for her. She knew for certain that her family and her home were safe. The government had destroyed all the tunnels and bridges leading into Shishibone City, so it was physically cut off. That basically meant they were admitting that it would at least take time to determine a solution for this problem. Just a sec. It basically meant they were admitting that it would at least take some time to determine a solution for this problem. On the other hand, though, since they went that far, they were also able to keep the damage from spreading beyond the city. Those living in the city were probably depressed or enraged, believing that the government had abandoned them. But in terms of the big picture, that was the right call. Thanks to that decision, Une's home was safe. She still had hope. That was how she was able to keep going this long, even amidst crushing despair. Once we understood what she was going through, we all looked down for a moment, and then clenched our fists with a growing sense of purpose. If you hadn't rescued us, who knows what would have happened to us? It's very likely that some of us would have died. The debt we owe you for saving our lives can't be called a cheap one. Yeah, that's right, Une-chan. Club members will do everything within our power to ensure you make it home. Thank you for that. Operation Crossin' will commence tomorrow morning at 4 a.m. We'll use the cover of night to cross the main street in one go and reach the office. I'll be taking the lead and scouting ahead to prepare for the worst. I don't want to think about it, but can't deny the possibility that everyone in the office has gone crazy too. While Mion warned us about that, she seemed confident it wasn't the case. She was probably able to confirm they retained their sanity when she was observing the office with the opera glasses. We all went to bed early so we'd be in top condition. Satoko set a trap to detect intruders, but it was hard to sleep while fearing the sound of that empty can. Even so, I definitely fell asleep at some point. Then I woke to Mion poking me. It's time to get up. Oh yeah. Surprised you woke up on time without any alarms. Mei-chan said she didn't sleep. You were the one who slept soundest of us all. Good grief, how bold. It should be pitch black. But it isn't. You're right. Moonlight is surprisingly bright. If it really was the moonlight, it might have been a bit romantic. The traffic lights and other illumination were still on, lighting up the city without rest. Unlike Hinamisawa, Okinomiya never had nights of pitch-black darkness. I didn't know if we should consider that fortunate or disadvantageous for our stealth. Occasionally there were glimpses of light from flashlights. Flashlights in the main street filled with rows of unoccupied vehicles. They had set up watch just as we predicted, but regardless, their guards were still thinner than it was in broad daylight. Okay, we can do this. Going to be okay, aren't we? Just leave it to us. There's nothing to fear. We'll cross it easily. We have our secret weapon, too. I hope we manage to do this quietly. Rushing and make a lot of noise. Cause issue for those in the office, too. That's true. From our reconnaissance, it looked like the Sonozaki office was cutting off all contact with the outside. They had set up the barricades and they weren't interacting with the rioters at all. If they had surrendered their hearts to demons like the rioters had, then they wouldn't be setting up defenses and they'd be fully participating in the hunt for infected. Oh. Hello, Phyllis, hold on. Okay, I hope I can get this. The Phyllis, but yes, welcome in and thank you so much for the follow. Is this, was I watching Higurashi? No, so this is actually the 9th chapter, or 9th volume, the bonus one. Is Phyllis? Oh, okay. Okay. Make sure to remember that. With the outbreak story currently, because I'm finally returning. I actually did the first the 8 main chapters a while ago, almost a year ago. I'd finished those up, and I never got back to it, so I'm finally getting that. Do you only know Higurashi? I know about the... Is it Umaneko? When they cry, Umaneko. Yeah. I know that's... I haven't played that, and I don't know as much about that. So it's one of those things I've been, like, considering do that. It's on a possibility list. If I stream it. It's one of those things where I may just do that off stream. Just because it was a big commitment going through the first 8 of these. So, which all of those actually I do have, which I'm thankful I did, but it was quite a bit. And I, actually have those all archived on my YouTube. Anyway. But if we were to rush in there while being chased by rioters, then they said that the Sonozaki group is harboring the infected and ended up causing an uproar. We had to strive for complete stealth. Une slowly unlocked the door leading outside, opening that door here in Okonomiya where the streets were basically an ocean teeming with sharks. Oh, it's better to try to understand. Oh, okay, no worries. Thank you for I appreciate the you trying and for the follow. Yes. And facing the same fear as trying to step into a lion's cage. It's not like I'm not afraid. I'll take the lead. If I fail, retreat quickly, just as we planned. Don't even think about trying to save me. Got it? That goes both ways. If I sprain my foot again, abandon me. We really will this time. So be careful, Keiichi-kun. Yeah. The operation will now begin. If something happens, leave it to me. Satoko was carrying a radio-controlled car she borrowed from somewhere on the 2nd floor. She tested moving it in a straight line with the remote controls, then set it up to drag an empty can fastened behind it. It could be our decoy if the worst happened. However, that sound would draw unwanted attention. It wasn't a trump card to help us reach the office. It was a trump card to buy us a chance to retreat if the operation failed. The success rate of Mion's operation was roughly 95%, but we still couldn't bring the chance of failure down to 0. It was Mion's policy to imagine all possibilities and prepare for each one of them, so to ensure that the worst possible outcome not catch them off guard. She gave the go sign to Satoko's remote control plan. I'm heading out. Make sure you stay a fair bit away from me. We carefully opened the door, and once we were certain enough everything was quiet around us, Mion slipped outside. Unlike Hinamizawa, everything in Okonomiya was covered in concrete, so even the faintest sounds echoed. If you stepped on a small rock on the asphalt, you could hear it from rather far away. Well, might be better going barefoot. Mion took off her shoes. No matter how careful we walked, the hard rubber soles couldn't silence the sound of pebbles scraping asphalt. Even with socks on, it would hurt a city kid to walk on the surface barefoot. But for us Hinamizawa kids, who always chased each other around, climbing trees barefoot, walking on asphalt with no shoes was nothing. It's time to see whether or not Keiichi-san, our former city kid, can tolerate going barefoot. I've trained myself up a lot by now. Don't take me lightly. Oni-chan, are you okay going barefoot? It hurts. I'm sorry. Just bear with it for a little while, okay? Mion poked her head out of the alley and checked on the river with rows of unoccupied cars. It was too easy to see across the wide sidewalk. We'd have to cut across it in one go and duck behind the row of cars. The self-proclaimed watch also realized that clear view meant it was the best place for keeping a lookout. We could see them shining a beam of light straight down the sidewalk every now and then with their flashlights. They were excessively frightened and were seeking out an enemy. If they sensed even the slightest presence, they'd cause a lot of noise and summon their friends. This is good. I've been looking for a thrill like this. Mion boldly licked up the sweat trailing down her nose, and smiled. She used hand signs to signal her friends to wait and calculated her timing. The watch's lights were restless. They wandered back and forth, glancing everywhere in fidgety motions. Their fear left them needing to light up every shadow, so that anxiety created plenty of openings. Now. Quick and nimble like a cat, Mion dashed across the sidewalk and ducked into the row of cars. Went so quickly and easily that all her prior tension seemed misplaced. Keiichi and the others heaved a sigh of relief as they watched from the shadows. Keiichi, the second on up, was about to follow after her, but Mion gave them the sign to hold. It looked like she wanted to carefully cross the river of cars and check out the sidewalk on the opposite bank. Shoot, that's bad. When she had scouted from the roof right before commencing the operation, there wasn't anyone over there. At some point, 3 men from the watch had taken up posts on the opposite shore. They were heading right towards her. She wasn't exposed just yet. They were just walking around, shining lights randomly at the cars. Mion calmly found a truck with a high frame and slid underneath it. It's okay. They haven't spotted us. If they had noticed us, would they be walking so carelessly? Even if she was 99% certain she was safe, she could feel herself sweating. Pathetic, Sonozaki, Mion. Think I'd be sweating this badly over a little hide and seek. Make sure you don't overlook any infected. Oh, their brains are damaged. Plus they'll try to bite us and spread the virus further. You're the ones with the damaged brains, though. Mion smirked. Still, their feet stopped in front of the truck she hid under. Her smile froze. Did they find her? We're done for. Calm down. They're not acting like they have. They're getting in? And from the watch climbed into the bed of the truck Mion had hidden under. Apparently, there were folding chairs or something inside the truck bed. Men sat down on them, which meant the men had taken position directly above Mion. She was practically a bug pinned in place. Hey, seriously? Sweat dripped from Mion's forehead. Keiichi and the others understood the situation just as well. Mion couldn't move at all. There was no guaranteeing they wouldn't hear anything when she crawled out from under the truck. Not only that, but Mion couldn't see what was going on above her at all. Even if she were able to slip out without making a sound, there was no guarantee they wouldn't happen to look around and catch sight of her. Mion couldn't move from there until they left that post. It's not like I don't know what to do. Is it finally time for our secret weapon? Only as a last resort. Save Mion, that would cause way too much noise. Still, get it ready. Satoko nodded, set her remote control car on the sidewalk and fastened the empty kit into it. Once we let it loose, it was sure to draw their attention. Either way, the operations failed. We need to create an opening for Mion to make her escape. It'd be better to try again later. I agree. Just had bad timing. Let's try again. The club members knew exactly when to pull out thanks to our many dangerous club activities. Naturally, Mion was thinking the same thing. Keiichi and the others would probably create a chance for her to escape. She'd have to slip out in that moment. Still, they had to wait for a time. There was still a chance the men in the bed would stand back up and go off somewhere else. Even if they managed to retreat, causing an uproar now would make it even more difficult to cross the river a second time. Though Mion practically had a pin pushed through her heart, we had to stay calm and wait for our chance at victory. We should get Une-chan back to safety first. She wasn't used to being barefoot. She might have trouble running full tilt if it came down to that. Keiichi-kun, take Une-chan and secure our retreat. Satoko-chan, watch my back. Leave it to me. Keiichi-san, you've got a great responsibility. I know. I'll leave this to you two. Let's go, Une-chan. Yes. Keiichi took Une and left for the time being. He thought he'd face death at Hinamizawa, but Hinamizawa is full of nothing but old people. Plus, they had a home ground advantage there. But they were playing an away game under different rules in Okonomiya. If I'd known this was going to happen, I would have played around here more. Une was panting. No one could blame her. Things were so tense. Her breathing was ragged from both exhaustion and fear. Let's rest a moment and catch our breath. Thank you. Une calmed her breathing. Keiichi sharpened his senses and searched for anyone nearby. He sensed one. Not good. Someone's coming. Huh? I hear several footsteps. It's the watch. There's hardly anywhere to hide. If they screwed up and got caught, then their escape route would be cut off. They couldn't take any risks. There were no other streets. They had to turn back and pray the men went somewhere else. But the main street was the primary artery for their watch circuit. There was a high probability they would head directly toward Reina and the others. Let's head back. Can't run into them here. Going back again? Yes, for both sides. That might happen. Anyway, let's head back. Keiichi's prediction was spot on. They didn't go down any other street and it's straight for the main road. There were 4 young men about college age carrying metal bats. At this rate, they'd attack Reina and the others from the rear. We're pincered in? That's bad. Isn't this interesting? I hardly thought I'd get to feel as much suspense as I do during club activities. There's no way back. So then what do we do? You don't mean... do you? If we can't go back, then we have to go forward. We'll have to use our control trap to draw the enemy's attention, and seize that chance to advance. It was a dangerous strategy. We'd probably be able to get out of this pinch. If they start shouting, the rest of the watch will all wake up at once. And if we get unlucky enough to run into them on our way forward, then we'll be trapped like rats. If it's just 2 or 3 people, then we can handle them somehow with our club members' might. But if the uproar brings a huge crowd chasing after us, then we'll just be kids unable to fight back. Still, even with the few misfortunes thrown our way, this wasn't a game with no chance of victory. Satoko-chan, ready your trap. Ready whenever you are. Sidewalk's clear. We can cross now. Go! Satoko-chan, do it! Leave it to me. Let's go, Une-chan. Run! It's not like I can't run. Mio crest at once and ducked into the row of cars, but there was no way to prevent the men in the truck from noticing our dash. I looked over to see what it was. Sato's remote-controlled trap activated. The car dragged the empty can fastened to it, in a loud metal noise as it raced down the sidewalk. What's that sound? Running after them. It has to be the infected. Foinar in fear turned into violent aggression and anger. Truck leapt into car roofs and car hoods, chasing after the loud remote control car. Silence of the night was shattered with angry cries and whistles blasting from here and there. The city's madness was awakened. Mion was released from her prison under the truck. What are you doing? It's still too early for that. We were pincered. We had to set it off. Une-san, time to show what you're made of. We can't go back. There's more coming that way. Then a rider's bloodshot eyes dashed out of the alley everyone had just been hiding in. Ooh. A raid! A raid! Oh my gosh! Welcome in, raiders! Welcome in, raiders! Hello, hello, hello! Hey, welcome in, Rook! Welcome, welcome, welcome! Welcome, Emo Bubbles Corner! Welcome, welcome, welcome! Let me give you a shout out. And thank you so much for the raid. We are currently playing Higurashi When They Cry, the 9th bonus volume. Hopefully I spelled this right. But let's see, I hope your stream was good. Okay, you were playing Genshin Impact. Nice, nice, nice. For those who don't know, I am Virtue Cobalt. I'm a variety streamer. I play a number of different games.
Norn just died. Oh my god, and I just went.
As well as occasional, weekly readings and occasionally a little bit of singing. But it's good. We are currently playing Higurashi When They Cry, the 9th chapter, which kind of the bonus volume. First, the clip was when I lost my voice. I feel that. No worries, no worries. Anyway, thank you again so much for the raid. So if you need to do any post-stream care, please do so. For now, feel free to sit back, relax, and enjoy the rest of the stream. There must have been a building or something housing them all nearby. The option of turning back and returning to safety was cut off. We had to move forward. If we have to go forward, then forward we go. There's not much distance left. I just pray the Sonozaki group hasn't forgotten what you look like. Kei-chan, you sure say some funny things. Don't let your guard down. We kept relaxed until we made it inside the Sonozaki's group's office. Make dinner a recipe for great stream. Okay, you have a good dinner. Yes. Agreed. There's still a chance Shion-san might say, who the heck are you? True. More importantly, Mion, don't forget your promise to belly dance for us. You said you would when Kei-chan lowered that ladder. Did I say that? One-chan, hang in there. Just a little farther. It's right around that corner. Huh? Mion completely let her guard game. Oh, Ad was to cut the tape at the finish line after our final spurt. I'm sure that's what she thought. The finish line wasn't something we could cut through. Huh? What's going on? What is this? The street was sealed off with barbed wire mesh. Either the Sonozaki group did it to secure their safety in front of their office, or the rioters did it to keep infected from coming through, but we didn't know which. Regardless, the reality was that the street was blocked off with the office right in front of us. Knowing about this barricade ahead of time, our strategy would have been greatly different. We could only call it bad luck. It was in a perfect blind spot from the angle Mion had when scouting it with the opera glasses. That slight blind spot unfortunately brought a second misfortune with this barricade. It wasn't impossible to climb over it if you were prepared to hurt yourself in the barbed wire. But we couldn't force that on Une, who didn't have the resolve of us club members. Alternate routes. There's one. If we swing around from the alley across. Was when bright beams of light shone upon us all. Who are you all? There, it's the infected. Our blood froze. We were finished. Couldn't bear any longer and let out a piercing scream. We were out of options. Our opponents had us in build, ferocity, and numbers as well. The rioters gathered together, one after another, surrounding us and trapped us in the barricaded alley. That was when several dry shots rang out. Mion quickly shouted down and pushed our heads to the ground. Varus, who didn't recognize the sound of gunshots, stood there bewildered. Gentlemen, that's enough. Unlawful lynching is unacceptable no matter the circumstances. It was the sound of Tomatake firing in the air with a submachine gun he took out of the Ure institution's security room. Maybe the rioters thought it was just a muddle gun or something. But they showed no fear and only glared at Tomatake for interrupting their hunt. With Okonomiya's medical facilities paralyzed right now, even a shot to the leg could prove fatal. Tomatake didn't want to shoot, but gulped as the rioters proved unfazed. I don't want to shoot you all. Leave this to me. Hanyu. Comrades of mine, calm your spirits. I am Oyashiro-sama, your leader. Hanyu's stern words rang out solely for inhuman ears. The rioters stopped and stood still, their mouths wide open. Eventually, they sat down directly on the ground and waited absent-mindedly. Even if Takano had modified them to be more ferocious, they were still Hanyu's brethren. They couldn't escape the power of her words. The eyes of Mia and the others went wide with the shock, but they realized this was their narrow chance to get out alive. Everyone go now. What's this? What's going on? It's Oyashiro power. Nipa! Thank you for asking us, Rika-chan, Tomatake-san. We heard the commotion. We made the right choice rushing over. What are we all doing out here? The office of the Sonozaki group is just beyond here. We weren't aware of the barricade and got cornered like rats. Pathetic. You cut it that close with my sis on your side? Shion! Shion, Kasai, and a few other men in black outfits approached from behind the barricade. None of them carried a gun, but none of them had the ferocious expressions of the rioters. Seems like Sonozaki had retained their sanity and focused on holding up inside. Please give us a break, will you? We don't want to get involved with those crazies. Sorry for causing such a stir. If you're safe, Shion-san, we have nothing to fear anymore. That's right. I'm more reliable than Tina, my sister, all about myself. Kasai, open it for them. Come in, everyone. Kasai unlocked the padlock on the chain securing the barricade's door shut. Still, what on earth is going on? What happened to them? What on earth? We don't need to worry about them. If we leave them alone, they'll eventually wander off. Now, why don't we just appreciate this chance granted to us through Oyashiro-sama's miracles? Haha. Come on, Une-chan, you're safe now. There's nothing to worry about now that we have Shion-san with us too. That's right. Satoko understands at least. By the way, who's this girl? Hello? There? She's Une-chan. She saved our lives. What's the matter, Hanyu? You are... We all slipped through the barricade and were welcomed into the Sonozaki's group's office. Yet that sight was being observed from far away through binoculars. I found you. That's the girl. The Sonozaki Group's office had been turned into a shelter for the local residents. We could see the townsfolk lying down here and there, huddled under blankets. You could say that the Sonozaki Group is this region, after all. Under my mom's orders, we've been taking in people with nowhere else to go since the chaos started. What do you mean, people with nowhere to go? She means people just like Une-chan. Those that came here for work or visited for pleasure. There are a lot of people from outside of Okonomiya that got caught up in this mess. A watch went after those with nowhere else to go first. We could have fought against them, but Akane ordered us to avoid that. Securing as many people as they could, they built their surroundings with those barricades to limit their contact with the watch and prevent any further trouble. To the watch, all outsiders were the infected. They knew so many outsiders were being sheltered here, there would be big trouble. Is this place safe? I can guarantee it's the safest place in Okonomiya. The community center was the main shelter at first, but that place has collapsed. So this is what's left. Collapsed? You know what they say about 2-minute cooks. But Sarge, as just fighting over leadership led to murder. It's terrifying. I see. The leadership here is solid, so you've managed to establish order and keep people from handing their hearts over to the demons. Impressive. So the police and such still operating then? They're scattered across the city responding to riots. There are lies going around that they're harboring infected. Situations beyond anything the police were prepared for. There's no way they could handle it. That said, you were brave out there, Tomatake. Where did you get such a wonderful gun? Well, I just happened to pick it up. Haha. You know that's not one amateurs could handle. You're a man of many mysteries. Rika? Rika? What's the matter? Huh? Rika-chan's not here? Une-chan's gone too. Thought I saw those two talking over there just a moment ago. What do you mean, Hanyu? What's your issue with this girl? Quiet. Speaking to her right now. What are you saying? Who on earth is this Une girl? The sound of a tuning fork echoed in Rika's head. The tone gradually changed, almost like it was being well-tuned. Rika understood. This was a conversation between inhuman beings. It was like they were using a radio. They were searching for the right wavelength to allow mutual conversation, which meant this Une girl had to be. This is Hanyu, leader of the Horn people. Who are you? That was when both tones began to resonate. Bright light enveloped everything. The moment that light cleared away, Rika, Hanyu, and Une were floating in the world of inhuman beings. The eyes of the young girl named Une occasionally took on the same light that dwelled within Hanyu's. I was certain this girl, someone like me and Hanyu, some inhuman being. Hanyu stared long into Une's eyes, waiting for her response. I am Une. I am afraid. There's nothing to fear. We have no intention of fighting anyone. What people do you come from? Followed in response wasn't words, but something conducted through telepathy. Various images were practically forced into Rika's head, like she was being compelled to daydream. The ocean of stars in space, her blue earth shining in the distance. Apparently, Une was something that had only recently arrived on Earth. She had finally arrived at this land after a long journey, just as Hanyu's people had. So that's the case. Long journey, you finally... I was frozen in that pitch-black ocean. Finally reached this land, yet... Rika finally realized it. She was terrified. She had finally arrived here, and now she was anxious as to whether she could live safely or not. It wasn't unreasonable. From her perspective as an inhuman being, it was far too dangerous in Okonomiya with the current uproar. The people turned ferocious by N173 were killing each other in a sight out of hell. It was far too sad for her to receive such a welcome, after finally reaching this land after a long frozen journey through space. Hanyu then followed up by sending Une images of what she knew. For a while, Rika's head was flooded with both of their passing images, her mind like a television screen flickering between channels. Then they finally understood each other's upbringing, circumstances, and present situation. Rika was also able to convert those concepts into human words, and understand it vaguely. First off, she understood that Une was the same as Hanyu and Tamura, an inhuman being. She was one of the inhuman people from space who lived within humans just as humans lived on Earth. She reached this planet just the other day, However, that was according to said inhuman being's perception of time, so it might have been several years. Her body had finally acclimated to Earth, and she had just regained self-awareness. She was more of a seed as she drifted through space, and only regained her self-awareness after taking root here on Earth and finally budding. Rika also understood the special nature of Une's people. The special nature of Hanyu's horned people drove people to paranoia when they grew unstable and caused their hearts to become possessed by those demons. That was a disadvantage for them when trying to coexist with humanity. It was a problem both Hanyu, Tamura, and the horned people recognize. That problem is also the aspect that Takano showed interest in. In Une's case, her people carried no such disadvantage. They were much better adapted to coexisting with humanity than Hanyu's people were. So unlike you, they're the type that Tamura would have welcomed. There's no way or Hime no Mikoto would welcome any new arrivals. Both Une and I are equally terrifying invaders. Une's people possess strength nearly equal to Hanyu's. Strength. What's born in my mind is the strength of a planet's roots. Fragile flowers that bloom beautifully in a flower garden sometimes be overtaken by wildflowers with powerful roots. Same strength. In Hanyu's world, their peoples were better described with the concepts of plants than animals. Yes, even in the world of plants there was survival of the fittest. Hanyu and Une had very strong power to survive. Their peoples were hardy species with strong roots. So what about Tamura's people? Ones that view you as an enemy. People are much weaker than mine. That's no one's fault, nor is it fate. It's just the special nature we were born with. These inhuman beings, the Earth was a big flower bed. We're all trying to sow their seeds, allow their species to flourish. Past Tamura's people were the only flowers blooming. Flower bed of Earth. Now a new species showed up. With their strong reproductive ability, they quickly dried up Tamura's people and increased their population. Of course, Tamura Hime no Makoto's perspective, they were invaders. That Hanyu species posed the risk of destroying the flower bed if they grew unstable. Could survive if the flower bed was destroyed. So that's why Hanyu's people agreed to themselves to Himizawa, the flower bed best suited for them, until they were able to gain the power to coexist with their flower bed. Yet now, this Une, a species with the same amount of strength, has once again entered the flower bed. Fortunately, Une's people will not harm the flower bed. However, they possess the strength to easily wipe out Tamura's people. We have no such intentions. Just want a little bit of land for ourselves. Understand how you feel. We support you in this as well. When it was also across the ocean of stars. That case, just arrived at the worst possible time. It's hard to imagine Tamura welcoming another species. Hanyu's people running rampant like they are now. I'm scared. Simply want to bloom quietly in peace. Is there no land beyond Tamura's reach? All the land of Japan belongs to Tamura's people. If she were to leave Japan, there are other peoples live in those lands too. So the Earth is like a full apartment complex with no vacancies. But I believe Tamura Hime no Makoto's people are claiming too much. Respect those who lived here before us, but they should share the land. Tamura's a bully for monopolizing it. How? Why don't you just go all Sengoku era and compete for the land? Survival of the fittest is the law of nature, right? Because that would lead to something terrible. Bedan's way of planet would meet their end, Owl. Now that you mention it, you and Une are about equally strong, right? Happen if you fought. I don't want to fight. I don't want to fight either, and there's no point in fighting her anyway. So our strength is equal. Meaning what? In our case, the flower bed would go to the fastest one, Owl. Don't want to fight. So you're saying the people of Hinamizawa can't be infected by Une, right? That's right. Likewise, the humans with Its parasite can't come down with Hinamizawa syndrome. That would be correct. I think I might have figured out how to identify aliens. Anyway, something's nagging at me. This means... Hanyu. What were we doing again? Ow? Hit your head on tofu or something? Can't allow Takano to run wild, right? She's trying to spread N173 throughout the world. So our goal is to stop that, right? Yes, it is. What about it? You're an idiot, a huge idiot. I can't believe it. It's two birds with one stone. I don't really understand. You just need to forget about Tamura and help this girl live freely on our planet. Humans possessed by Tamura's people can be taken over by Une, right? People Une's taken over can't be taken over by your people. The pair of stupid aliens both tilted their heads in confusion. Damn, game. You're really gonna call him out like that? Okay. Makes sense, now all the pieces are in place. I know the identity of Takano's devil. That's all we have to do. So we just need to get Une into the people of Japan faster than Takano. That no one become infected, even if Takano spreads N173 everywhere. Not bad about clearing Tamura's people out. We stick to just the prefectures we can block Takano in. There's 47 different prefectures, so Tamura or Hime no Mikoto can spare at least one. She surrounded Takano with Une, she won't be able to spread the infection any further. See off the spread of N173 and be able to prevent further damage. Now I get it. That development would prove fatal from Takano's perspective. Une has to be the true identity of the devil she spoke to Tomatake about. The only thing that makes sense. Une and N173 are evenly matched. They can't beat each other. We infect people with Une before they get N173, and we'll ruin all of Takano's plans. There you have it. Oh, that's an incredible idea, Rika. I kind of understand, maybe. It's an incredibly good idea. Une will go to live in our planet and won't be able to prevent any more tragedy. Thus will drive Tamura out of this prefecture, so it's two birds with one stone. If Une occupies the entire prefecture, then Tamura's people will be driven out of here. I mean, we'd never see Hime no Mikoto again unless we left the prefecture, and we wouldn't have to listen to her complaints. So in 1,000 years, we could strike a blow against the god who claimed all of Japan for herself and nagged us any time we set even a foot upon her land. He was dancing with joy. She must be at odds with Tamura. With such an arrogant attitude and condescending posture, even Rika wanted to strike her after only meeting her once. What should I do? There's nothing we can do about it, Okonomiya. The city's already infected with N173, so you can't infect the people here, right? That's right. Case. What should we do? Well, Tomatake, all means of transit out of the city have been cut off to prevent the spread of infection. Yes, we couldn't get Une out of 173's infected region. We would have to escape this city before Takano does. Spread Une's people. To Tomatake and gain his support. Tomatake knows about the parasitic neurovirus. He should understand our situation too. Even if he does reject the idea of spreading Une, information could lead to the discovery of a new treatment or even a vaccine. I called Tomatake over and explained the situation. Of course, gaining his understanding took until dawn. So he ultimately understood. Interesting, alright. We'll have to leave the decision up to Tokyo, but her existence is It's a huge deal. If Une-chan's willing to cooperate, then we can prepare comfortable accommodations for her as well.
Wouldn't be opposed. Comfortable. Tomatake's an understanding man. Sure will treat you well, Une. I'm happy. This tragedy is finally in our sights. We can't claim that until we get Une outside of the city. It's at least one problem solved, I suppose.
Sonozaki Group office was the safest and most tightly guarded place in Okinomiya. It had food, resources, weapons, everything. They had Tomatake's understanding and cooperation. They had Une's cooperation as well. In terms of chess, they were now a few moves away from checkmate. It was the perfect time for their opponent to give up. Unless the Joker, Takano, caused some kind of uproar.
Plus, there's that obnoxious Tamurahime no whatever. She's not likely to welcome what we're trying to do now.
That was when they heard the ringing of a tuning fork, and bright white light enveloped both Rika and Hanyu.
She's here. Tamurahime. Speak of the devil. How dare you, leader of the Horned People? Truly you've been plotting to taint our land with your filthy shoes. Welcome our new friend, Une. That does not mean we'll steal all of your land. Be quiet, tainted one. Know that we shall not permit your conspiracy to corrupt our land. Listen, there's this villain Takano. She's planning to spread what you call the Horned People. Let Japan know the entire world. If she does, then your people will be exterminated. Getting angry at us isn't going to prevent that from happening. I'm going to cede a bit of land to Une. Then Une's people can live on this planet and you won't lose any more land. Hanyu won't have to see your face ever again either. And this can all be settled quietly between you three. Be quiet, child of man. Know that you are not permitted to use your tainted words. Oh. Stop using that headache power. She's always been stubborn and refuses to listen. You say we'll ever get through to her. You are the one who never listens, you tainted people, you horned people. My anger has not abated even after 1,000 years. I could say the same to you. I haven't lost any of my anger either for all your harassment.
I don't know what kind of history these two shared. They held on to their grudges for a millennium, and the cause of their antagonism ran deep. Apparently their history really isn't something humans who only live for around a century could moderate. It's just how gods are. Humans worship them on their own, and yet the gods themselves are more human than humans. Plenty of myths in every country about gods arguing and fighting each other. Hear about the fight between you two. Tamura no whatever, if you don't want to listen, that's fine. But this is the only way to stop the tragedy happening in the human world. You wouldn't understand anything I said anyway, foolish priestess of the Horned People. I have no intention of exchanging words with that tainted priestess either. You're god, okay, but you really tick me off. Maybe you shouldn't stop at one prefecture and take Toyama and Gifu while we're at it too. I will not allow it. Shall not allow you to corrupt the land of my people once more. It's a sound of glass shattering, followed by an angry, bellowing roar. What happened? Considering the timing, it was obvious Tamura had done something. Tamurahime was an end human being like Hanyu. She shouldn't be able to interfere with the word of man directly. Takano! Hello, Jiro-san. I had faith you and I would meet again. Hehe. Takano had broken through the window and flew into the office. The spectacle was as flashy as a scene from a movie, and the men were all taken back. Of course, even Tomatake couldn't avoid being dumbstruck. She was always unpredictable, but that was only in personality. She never had the physical ability to accomplish something like that. Sonozaki Group understood she was hostile from the aggressive smile on her face. Yet unlike with the rioters, they weren't sure of how to respond. Meanwhile, Takano was different. She understood exactly what she needed to be doing. Tomatake soon understood too. Her target was Une. We spread Une's infection throughout Japan first, then in 173 will become useless. There won't be anything Takano can do then, since she knew that from the start she's targeting Une. Uncover where she was hiding out in Okonomiya was inefficient. Once the Sonozaki group started sheltering people, Takano realized something. She just had to wait here and Une would come to her. We have business with that girl, Une. Could you bring her out for me by chance? I don't know what you're talking about. You don't need to play dumb. I've been watching you this whole time after all. Hee hee. I won't let you. Going to contact Tokyo. Pardon me for interrupting. Welcome to the Sonozaki group's office, Mio-san. Quite the procession. Shun appeared with an array of tough men in tow. An explanation that Takano was an uninvited guest. You're a tough woman, but I think you've gone too far now. I think you're about to understand just how strong I am. Takano grabbed one head, each in both her right and left hand, slamming them against opposite walls. Where did such monstrous strength come from in that slender frame? No, someone huge couldn't have produced such strength. Physics of it were all wrong. Even if her slender frame did house monstrous strength, she couldn't have picked them up and throw them so easily from that particular stance. Shion, Kasai, and the other men watched in shock. All they could do was stare at Takano's otherworldly power. Shion-chan, if you don't pay attention, then your head will get splattered everywhere. Huh? Shion's dumbstruck eyes met Takano's. For once, she cringed with fear. I couldn't blame her. When a human witnesses something beyond their understanding, they're completely unable to act until they can explain it. Takano's arms looked like huge bear paws to her. Therefore, she could blink. Those arms were swinging ferociously toward Shion. Look out! As Kasai shoved Shion out of the way, he grabbed Takano's swinging arm, and used her own force to capture her arm behind her and shove her body onto the floor. My. What a frightening person. Where on earth did you obtain such strength? Kasai, way to go! Got a good lock on our joints and pressed her into the ground. Strength she had, she shouldn't be able to struggle any longer. Wriggled in an effort to escape, she just looked like a pathetic bug pinned on its back. You should cease your futile resistance. Kasai's a scary man, so if you struggle too much, he might break your arm. Won't do it unless it's necessary. But I'm no gentleman, so forgive me if it comes to that. You know, I really can't move. Hee. Joints locked so securely, it should hurt enough for her face to twist in pain. Takano remained collected and seemed amused at her inability to move. Is this the full extent power you're granting me? It's not, is it? Hee. Used her other arm, and with just that single arm lifted both herself and her grappler, Kasai. It's like we were watching some kind of circus performance. No, Takano's irregular monstrous strength allowed her with just one arm to lift both herself and Kasai into the air. Even Kasai couldn't avoid being shocked. Next moment, he lost his hold on her, and she spun Kasai like throwing him against the wall. Y'all got guns, I know that. Use guns. She can't out-brute strength the bullet. Just saying. Too much fun. Takano, pale blue sparks could be seen. Driven her trump card, her stun gun into Takano's body. No matter how strong you are, no body can withstand electric jolts. Yet Takano just calmly turned around. My. What is that? That's impossible. The mere child would do such a thing to the priestess of a god. What a bad girl. Tayan seized hold of Shion's face. Shion groaned and fought back, and we heard her skull grating. For resistance like a baby is against Takano's vice-like strength. Hee. This is your punishment, okay? Next moment, Shion's body was splayed out against the wall. Shion was no different than her body being slammed to the ground. It felt like she'd been thrown out of the second story and slammed onto the hard concrete ground. Then her body slid down and crumpled onto the floor with a groan. Takano was about to walk towards Shion again, looking for something else from her. Stop this now, Takano-san. Shoot you. Bro, it's too late for that. Fire. Oh my, Jiro-san. It's a very interesting idea. Just to find out if a human weapon can injure me now. Hehehe. Gazed at Tomatake's submachine gun with amusement. Didn't seem to be the uniquely Japanese scorn of assuming it was just a model gun either. She was truly smiling, keenly curious as to what would happen if she were shot by it. Tomatake failed to understand that too. Right now, Takano had to be gifted with some form of supernatural power. Takano, your priestess, Tamurahime. Could you be such a fool? Be quiet. No, she'll not listen to you. She'll punish all peoples who dare to taint our sacred land. Your hindrance is useless. Prepare yourself. Une. Haven't done anything. Insolence. Corruption lies bare before my eyes. It was never my intention to... She said that thing when I arrived here and tormented me badly. She's just a bully. Tamura, I hold no grudge against you, but I personally dislike your priestess. Sorry, but if you're choosing right now, then we're choosing left. Sis of mine, the devil Une stands here. Now is the moment to slay her. So that's where you are, Une-chan. Looked at the wall. She could see Une's figure through it. They also noticed she was being stared at and shuddered. Run! We can't stop her. Kano checked her right fist. She slowly pressed it into the wall. Then cracks began to spread through the wall, reading slowly out from her fist. What's happening? Take said run, so run! Une-chan, hurry, this way! Run! Cracks in the wall spread even deeper before their eyes, and they could hear the ground quaking. There was no room left for doubts. Takano was planning to smash right through the wall. Why does Tamura's priestess have such incredible... when your priestess gets nothing? Don't say that. You say that, it's over. Ow, ow. Rika-chan, what are you doing? Run! Simple wall couldn't stop Takano. No, the priestess of Tamurahime no Makoto. She smashed through the wall as easily as crushing a sandcastle. I found you, Une-chan. Hehehehe. Ah. Une-chan slipped and fell, failing to escape. Kano wasn't foolish enough to let that chance slip by. She strode right in and seized Une by her collar. Now I've got you. Sorry, it was the pretty, misfortunate girl, Satoko-chan. Did you think it was Une-san? Too bad for you. While she had kept her composure with a gun pointed at her, Takano's mind went blank for a moment after that. After Rika shared Une's secret with them, they prepared the ultimate trap to protect her. They had Satoko, who was close to her height, change into her clothes and take her place. Of course, the slip and fall was a calculated move to draw Takano's eyes towards her. The shock of seeing her other powers smash through the wall wasn't enough to overcome the thrill of trying to catch her in a trap. Satoko! And here's a present for our fool. Satoko took advantage of Takano's stupor to place something onto her head. It was a pair of white, fluffy bunny ears. Now, Hanyu. Here I go. Flash. Huh? What's this? Bunny ears? Oh. Huh? Hanyu had used her inhuman powers to interfere with Tomorrow's own power for a moment, ruining a break in protection Takano received as our priestess. Of course, since Tamura was very powerful due to ruling of her vast regions of land, Hanyu could only break her power for a moment. However, that moment was plenty. Taking you home. Take you home. Rena's heavy blow was concentrated on Takano's face, and Keiichi swept her feet in the opposite direction. Takano's body spun in the air and then slammed face down onto the mountain of rubble she'd created herself. If she had Tamura Hime no Makoto's protection, then Reina's attack would have been little more than the toying of a house cat. But in that one moment, she had reverted to the ordinary Takano, which meant that it was a finishing blow. Takano suffered a concussion and passed out. What's going on? Is Reina-san really human? I'm surprised. Haha. But seeing Takano's supernatural power just a moment ago, Shion and the others could replace their shock with strange smiles. Of course, because they just witnessed a club member instantly beat her in her inhuman strength. Don't go saying I did nothing, okay? This was my strategy, and I devised it after considering our situation and all our members' abilities. Sis, you're here? I didn't notice. Can't believe she took down that monstrous version of Takano so easily. Une-san, there's nothing to fear anymore. You can come out now. It's not scary anymore? Une timidly emerged from the shadows where she hid wearing Satoko's clothes. Normally, we wouldn't have been able to fool Tamura Hime no Makoto's eyes with just a change of clothes. Takano was certainly able to see Une even through a wall with her divine power. Yet when Takano broke through the wall and saw her with her own eyes, her human perception took priority, and she mistook Une for Satoko because of her clothes. That's why she fell for the club member's trap. My priestess, how could you? Takano's passed out. You can't lend her your power anymore. It's amusing that the Japanese word for passing out is written as losing God. Tamura may have been granted Takano powerful strength as her priestess, but she couldn't give her anything while she was unconscious. It's unfortunate for you, in our first or second time dealing with Takano. This happened because you understood the power of my priestess. Now tomorrow, Hime no Makoto. She'll be silent for a while. Hanyu, flash! Ah! Hanyu made scissor symbols with both her hands and placed them horns, causing a bright light to rush forward and banish the sight of Tamura Hime no Mikoto. Apparently erasing the image of Tamura didn't mean defeating her, though. I'm still grateful we don't have to see that annoying face for a while. Tamura let out a scream and posed like a defeated Sentai villain before disappearing. Let's get Takano-san all tied up while we can. She was incredibly strong, too. We'll need to bind her with chains. Sorry for her. Takano was just a frail woman without Tamura's power, but her bonds were ridiculously secure. Well, that settles that. Is everything settled for us?
It is. It's old news since Tamura is gone now. Take will take care of the rest. Isn't that right? Is that true, Mion-chan? Amazing, you have everything here. Well, there's nothing we Sonozakis can't get a hold of. What's going on? Apparently, there's a powerful radio here. Sounds like Tomatake can use it to make contact with the outside. It was the Sonozaki's illegally modified radio. According to Tomatake, it could signal us out without being affected by the radio interference. It's just out to see if I can contact Tokyo. Ine-chan might be the savior we need, after all. He used the neuroparasite as a weapon. It was essential to have a vaccine for it. So the strength of Ine's roots would prove a powerful vaccine against the infection of N173 and most other viruses like it. Tokyo would definitely be interested in that. You're incredible, Tomatake-san. You can do anything. Well, I just studied it a bit as a hobby. It's the end of our grand adventure, I suppose. I hope so. I'm already exhausted. I can leave? It's town now? Yes, you can get out. You'll probably be held prisoner for a while, though. They can't do anything without your cooperation, so you'll be treated well, I think. Une, welcome to Earth. Let's both bloom together here on this planet. Tamura no Mikoto as well, of course. I'm so happy. Thank you, Hanyu. Aww.
Hold on, ads coming up. Let me go ahead and run it real quick. I won't do anything. We just take care of this. But I hope everyone's enjoying it. So, based on time, we may be able to finish. Yeah. Obviously, we'll be finishing Outbreak tonight, since I think that's about over. I think we're pretty much at the exact end. But, I think we'll be able to do the other stuff. Alright. We can continue to ads over. Ad over. Early the next morning, Une and the others were in the school, or designated over the radio. Like 30 of the Sonozaki group's toughest men were surrounding them, glaring in all directions. A helicopter was approaching. Ume was the only one being extracted. Take care. We paid you back for saving us now. Hope you managed to save everyone with your body's secret. Thank you for taking care of me. Une was forced to wear airtight clothes. All the JSTF men riding in the helicopter were in them too. It's a slight shame how we're being left behind, though. I'm sorry. In 17... No. Till we understand the cause of this illness, we can't be allowed to leave. So we know everything's settled with Une, we're still stuck in survival mode for now. Well, you'll be as safe as long as you stay here. I think the strange illness will settle down over time. There's a fewer of those crazy people already. Peace will soon return to this city. The Rars who handed their hearts over to demons continued to kill each other without getting tired of it. Like Kasai said, eventually they'd kill themselves off and things would quiet down. From what Tomatake heard over the radio, they were preparing to send aid to Shishibone City. Food and water and other necessities would be transported by air. Such an incredibly large uproar couldn't be wrapped up that easily. But we had our light of hope. Une was the key. Thank you. Thank you. You're best out there. Happy to welcome you to this planet. I'm happy too. I'm super happy. Waved her hand for the helicopter flying away. The club members all waved innocently back at her. Only Rika absent-mindedly watched her go. She was pondering something she couldn't explain in Une's smile as she left. Afterward, she was transferred to Tokyo's facility, the National Institute of Infectious Diseases. The disaster order reaching several 100,000 people, no longer be possible to cover up the existence of Hinamizawa syndrome. The world was in uproar of this mysterious virus capable of making humans randomly go violent. Of course, the secret research institution of the major nations that knew about neuroparasites were paying attention to the progress of the current neuroparasite biohazard. They dispatched many researchers to help, because there was no guarantee it would remain solely Japan's problem once it reached that point. Samples of Une's cerebrospinal fluid were taken and transported to the most classified research labs of each nation.
My seeds have reached every corner of this blue flower bed. I'm happy. I'm super happy. Foolish leader of the Horned People, trembling in fear at your sin of unleashing that terrifying corrupt people upon our world. It's already too late. Takano's evil plot is finished now. Ow, ow, ow! Tamurahime no Makoto. Something you want to say, why not say it? What was it you were trying to achieve? Takano was your priestess, so Takano was following your orders and trying to accomplish some specific task. What was it? It's not even worth asking. Spilling you and trying to spread Hinamizawa syndrome everywhere to sow chaos. How? That doesn't make sense, though. Hanyu, the syndrome is a tainted people to her, right? Why would Tamura have Takano spread them elsewhere? How? Take said that Takano was going to feed a devil and doing so save humanity. She started spreading N173. She's both trying to save humanity and destroy it? Goals contradict each other, but I didn't pay any mind because I was sure it was just Takano's crazy delusions. But if it's all Tabura ordered, none of it was meaningless. Mere child of man, let alone the priestess of the foolish foreign people, would understand even if I were to tell you. Foolish you are. Just don't look down on me. Like her, my head isn't filled with cream puffs. Rika, don't understand what you're getting at all. Loves the Horned People, so why would she try to spread them outside of Hinamizawa? Can't be. Horned People and Une's people had equally strong roots. That Tamura called Une a devil. She told Takano she would save humanity. You had Takano spread N173, so Une couldn't spread herself. Yes, those infected by Une couldn't be infected by N173. The reverse was also true. Infected them with N173, they couldn't be infected by Une. She infects them with us. Those with weak minds will be in big trouble. Worry about that with Une, though. Do you know that? Just convinced yourself that's the case. Communicating with Une, right? In other words, you've just accepted Une's claims without question, haven't you? How? I see. Here's the leader's foolishness has not infected her priestess. Means that you made a hard choice. Decide that handing over a portion of your land, the entirety of Shishibone City, to the tainted people, least preferable to that. Isn't that right? Which means that you knew about Une, didn't you? Hers is an accursed race, which brought forth great catastrophe upon our motherland. This is super fun. Une, it's been a while. Foolish Hanyu, know her true nature and tremble with terror at your sin. Tamurahime no Mikoto, well, he pulled a fast one on me. I awoke and tried to bloom. The flower bed around me was already filled with that fool's flowers. Sure she did get you good. This cream of her brains is a useless weed, but her roots are strong enough that you couldn't beat them. To make your affection explode through the population, Takano had already spread in 173. You couldn't do that. It was a total loss. But then a dumbass who believed my story just happened to show up. Though her brain was an empty cream puff lacking even in cream, she finally realized that she'd been tricked. Hanyu had believed that they understood everything about each other after her communication with Une. Hanyu had openly shared everything about herself because she was so simple. But that wasn't the case for Une. She cleverly hid her true nature in her terrifying plot to deceive Hanyu. Which means Tamura Hime no Makoto saw through her, didn't you? Know that the plot from the leader of such a cursed people could never deceive my insight. Tamura had known what Une was after. Une's goal was to propagate herself throughout every corner of this on its huge flower bed. She did that. You all would perish, huh? So you had to fight, just like you once fought Hanyu's people. Hanyu said Tamura was what's mean to her, but that probably wasn't her just being mean. From Tamura's perspective, she was likely fighting to protect herself. Fortunately, they learned Hanyu's people couldn't live outside of Hinamizawa, so they managed to maintain 1,000 years of peace by avoiding each other. However, if a new people that weren't bound to such a small area came here. You see, she certainly would be a devil, so use Takano to stop her. But calling her a devil to destroy humanity is going too far. She might be a destroy you, but the humans don't know or care which parasite is living in their heads. Suppose that's a limit of understanding of the Horned People's priestess. Foolish. Super too late now, you idiots. Totally consuming this whole planet. Awaken, my children, my seeds. Sink your roots in this world and bloom. Bloom and spread yourselves wide. Ines spread her arms like she was spreading a pair of wings and issued her orders to all of her children scattered throughout the whole world. Children of man couldn't quarantine Une's seeds with their mere concept of disease prevention. The humans researching across the world were already infected. America, Georgia State, Atlanta. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention were the fortress and the front line protecting humanity from viral infections, and also the highest world authority on the subject. Yet in a secret war, the Neuroparasite Research Division, they were researching her children. They were researching it with the greatest precautions and most modern equipment, but the techniques of mere mortars weren't able to stop the spread of the children of a god. Head researcher first collapsed on a bus on his day off. People rushed to his aid one after another and collapsed until the driver lost consciousness. Fortunately, the bus was already stopped, yet that wasn't a silver lining, because neither humanity nor human beings possessed the means to stop the spread of Une's children. The same thing happened in Sverdlovsk Oblast within the Russian Federation, right in the Yekaterinburg Secret Biological Weapon Research Center. Of course, it also happened in Japan's National Institute of Infectious Diseases within Shinjuku, Tokyo, as well as in other research centers in England, France, China, Korea, and other nations too. And then they traveled through the transportation technology that humanity had foolishly overdeveloped, spreading to all lands throughout the world, where humanity lacked the means to notice it at all. It's like 2 weeks after the initial spread of infection. These children had spread throughout every corner of the globe. The first symptoms developed. The infected, though at this point, the infected and all humanity were synonymous. Then learned for the very first time they were all infected with something unknown to them. People were afflicted with intense drowsiness, and one after another they crumpled and fell asleep on the spot. They had become a seedbed. As they finished consuming all of the nutrients of their host, they broke out through the host's body, spread more seeds, and consumed all of humanity, because Une's people had no intention of coexisting with humanity at all. Once they had consumed their flower bed, they would travel through space once more in search of the next. Accursed people indeed.
7 weeks after the initial infection, humanity's population was reduced to 20% of its former size. Of course, even that 20% was being culled as well. Then they would once more return to space in search of an organism with a brain to host them. Afterward, only the host of the Horned People couldn't be infected by the accursed people would remain on Earth, which meant that only those people in this region who Takano had infected within 173 had not turned their hearts over to a demon managed to survive. There were far too few humans remaining to maintain civilized society, so eventually they too would perish completely. Super fun, super happy, super awesome, super duper, super Une. Assuming everything is my people's only entertainment. I mean, consuming an entire planet is super fun. It's my people to consume them all, no one be able to get in our way. Faced with me, the weak flowers of this planet are like sugar lumps before hot coffee. You've done it now. Pretend to be weak so you could use to advance your plans. Well done. I couldn't fool Tamura Hime no Makoto. She was clever. Do not underestimate me. Know that I'm the leader of the people ruling over this nation of Yamato. Get that horned head and our priestess. You two were super easy to fool. God's a fool, so is the priestess. You are both super dumb. It's incompetent, so is the priestess. You are a useless god with nothing useful to your name, no power, no supernatural power either. You're a super dumbo. What is this? She's ticking me off 5 times as much as Tamura. I really agree. It's really annoying to hear us called incompetent. Know that you are indeed incompetent. You are tainted people and now foolish people. You should hit your head on a steamed bun and die. But I never knew that Une was going to destroy the world. It's not my fault. You know that all other races are enemies. Yet you just handed it over to her. There is a limit to how stupid one can be. Ow. Could have just told us that, Tamura. So it's your fault, Tamura. Be quiet. And listen to you tainted people. This is super fun. Perish, you stupid gods of this blue flower bed. You're stupid humans. You're incompetent priestesses, too. Une laughed loudly, while Hanyu and Tamura insulted each other like children. Seemed quite pathetic this was a fight between gods who the extension of humanity. Rika placed a hand on her forehead like she was enduring a headache, but her frustration was winning at that particular moment. Listen, I don't consider myself a human. I don't care if our world is destroyed. There's one thing I just can't forgive. The fact you looked at me, Rika Furude, was overcome the mountain that has hundreds of death, and called me incompetent. The term incompetent is what you use for a man who goes off to the hot spring at a critical moment. To oppose me, you mere child of man? That's super funny. Well, something out of nowhere that glinted with a silver light. What is that? Don't you know? It's a kitchen knife. A cooking tool. The perfect instrument for chopping up food and detestable people. I'm super laughing right now. Do you plan on fighting with the tool of mankind? That's super funny. Super. From the perspective of humans, those inhuman beings were like a moon on the water's surface. She could swing a weapon all she wanted in the world of man, but it wouldn't even disturb the water's surface, let alone harm the moon floating in the sky. However, for them to manifest in the world of men, they required a priestess. To put it in human terms, they required a queen carrier as a host. If she defeated Une's queen carrier, was that correct to say, or was it better to say Une herself? Then she could at least deal a decisive blow to her. However, your body's super beyond your reach.
Can't even leave Shishibone City, so you can't lay a finger on her. And all my people have been taken captive. No idea where she is at present. Could have taken her down while she was trapped in Shishibone. It's tainted cream puff. It's enough. Honestly, it's your fault for being so petty, Tamura. A 1,000-year grudge over a single meal. I'll never give you a single grain of rice that has been dedicated to me. I was starving. Could have spared a little. Stop it, you two. Besides, this battle isn't over yet. Oh? And how are you going to face me by yourself when I'm super enveloped your entire world? That's super funny. Battle isn't over. This battle is super over already. You're right. This battle is over already. As far as you two can conceive. From my perspective, it isn't over yet. If it's more, I could say that this battle was over the moment you revealed your true nature. It's over and it's my victory. Oh? What nonsense is your priestess spouting? Could she possibly save the world in this situation? Hehe. Want to know? I super want to know. Who wants to know? It's already too late. The world's ending. How are we going to save this world now? Hey, can you not understand? You've forgotten how this is used. How? When the heck? When Une's head with the knife? She were not a god. I command you to behead Une indeed. You two both have your heads filled with cream-free puffs. Cream-free cream puffs. Teach you how to use this knife is used right now. She's gonna stab herself. It's like, do-over. Groundhog Day powers, activate. What do you totally think you're doing? The cause of your defeat was revealing to me your true identity and whereabouts. Huh? Where Une is right now? Do you know where... when even Tamura doesn't? Still, even if you did know, there's nothing you can do if she's not here. Doesn't matter where she is right now. Back then, she was here in Okonomiya. That's all I need to know. What are you saying? I super don't get it. Let me tell you something. I'm going to lose. Because you made me mad. Let's go back. Back to the moment Une became aware of Une and awakened her on this planet. It was... she used her reset powers. Oh, I activate Groundhog Tape. Day before Takano started spreading in 173. Since Une had just awoken, her presence was still faint. Tamura had yet to grasp her whereabouts. Une had learned how weak Tamura's roots were. She was making preparations to bloom at once and spread her people everywhere. Tamura had given up on discovering Une's whereabouts and welcomed Takano as her priestess to prepare her bitter plan of stopping Une's explosive spread. Plan of having Takano spread N173 before Une could, which meant that at present, neither Une nor Takano had spread anything at all. The world had yet to reach the point of no return. In other words, if Une's ambition could be halted on this day, then it would all end before it started. But that was impossible, without a time machine. Hehehe. Super woken up. I couldn't fool Tamura no Makoto, but that doesn't matter. I don't need to worry about someone with such weak roots as move on to take over this planet and super consume it. Super kikihihihi. Une's ambition of conquering the world with her people was born here in the small town of Okonomiya in rural Japan. No one in the world had noticed this terrifying resolve just yet. However... Kihihi. He? Good afternoon. Are you Une-chan? Are you? Who are you? Reina, did you find her? This must be her. Oh, it is. She looks exactly like she did in the portrait. Rika's pretty good at drawing, isn't she? I'm quite surprised. The other girl with a ponytail had up a sketchbook with a portrait that looked exactly like me. Suddenly surrounded and didn't understand why. I finally found you, Une. What? Who might you be? Our first time meeting would normally be some weeks from now. But I only met you just the other day. I say the other day, I mean several months ago. I only had today to find you. So I had a hard time searching for you, Une. Foo. Underestimate me and Rika, Une. Already seen your ambition for world conquest. How did you see through my ambition? See? Maybe the Horned people and her priestess aren't so powerless or incompetent after all, huh? She's so tiresome it wears on the patience a bit. My point of view, you're the incompetent one. Hehehehe. Flesh. It's ancient god-binding treasure, normally kept in the Furude Shrine's ritual storehouse. Now everyone, bind her up in this sacred rope. Peepa! You're binding me in circles. Ah! Oh. You to find Une so easily when I couldn't, Cover her, you have my thanks, children of men. You've shown yourself, Tamura Hime no Makoto. By the way, you're equally guilty. Just let go of your pride and ask for help, you wouldn't have needed to cause such a huge disaster in the first place. I am the proud Tamura Hime no Makoto. I would never indebt myself to the savage and tainted Horned people. That's why you're just as guilty. Flash. What? Got finding treasure? Ah! Captured all the ringleaders of this commotion. How? It's a tragedy that could have been prevented if you and Tamura weren't on bad terms in the first place. Said the two of you fought over a single meal, right? It's not my fault. Or I shouldn't have been so stingy. She had so much being offered to her. Offered her share a bit with me. In other words, you stole it from her. So you're just as guilty. Flash. Is this why you brought 3 sacred ropes with you? Ha! We heard the whole story from Rika-chan. You're all gods, right? We should give a little consideration to the humans you're endangering. It's good that we prevented it ahead of time. This might have turned into a terrible disaster, you know? Isn't just terrible. Experience it firsthand. Anyway, it's not good for us if you gods don't get along with each other. Still, they're awfully cute gods, aren't they? I'd imagine they'd have much scarier faces. Ow. I'm Oyashiro. This treatment isn't fair. Why, you children of men. It's right you show me disrespect and call me cute. How did you know about my ambition to conquer the world? I totally can't accept this. Oni-chan, why would you plot to destroy our world in the first place? Because we super love consuming everything. So then what about after you've consumed and ruined everything? How long does it take you to find a new planet? Takes long enough to drive you crazy, doesn't it? I'm betting you're feeling lonely that whole time, aren't you? Aren't you? But Tamura told me to get out. That super ticked me off. First I thought about living here peacefully. Tamura's bullying is the root of all evil. You all would the fatal mistake of letting Une escape the city. So in short, Une decided to destroy the world because Tamura Hime no Makoto told her to get off this planet. Yes, that's right. Then Tamura-chan refused to talk to Hanyu-chan or Oyashiro about it because they fought, and decided to resolve it herself using terrible methods. I didn't want to borrow any help from the tainted people. Yet the whole reason they're on bad terms in the first place, because Hanyu stole some of her offerings, right? This is my fault? Can't believe you're treating me like I'm the main cause of all this. Ow. Yes, quiet. We've heard the defendant's excuses,
You're all at fault because you three couldn't get along.
She finally made it here to Earth after a long, isolated journey, too. I think Tamura-chan could have tried to accept her a bit more, just a bit.
Tamura no Makoto, I can understand you might resent her for eating your offspring, but to stay on bad terms for eating your offering, on bad terms for 1,000 years and then refuse to consult her or ask her for help in a time of need, only to ultimately take drastic actions on your own isn't very praiseworthy either, you know?
For starters, this whole problem became more complicated because Hanyu just refused to apologize. Don't want you to get that mad over just one meal. I will never reconcile that starving, empty-headed cream puff. Just want you to share a little bit of this flower bed with me. You bully Mud Tamura. See, did you see? It really is all Tamura's fault. Une is a devil that would destroy everything. Une is the one to blame for all this. I think Tamura's hatred for the other races all started when Hanyu went and stole food from her. If you hadn't done that, then Tamura wouldn't hate outsiders and she might have accepted me. You know, that is exactly right. This cream puff her brains is the cause of all this. I refuse to be treated like I'm the one to blame.
Silence. Now we'll hand out the verdict. All three of you are equally guilty of the crime for failing to get along. So your punishment is having to play games in our club.
Hehe. If you can happily play games together and deepen your camaraderie, can all forgive and forget what matters most. The generous sentence for the priestess of the Furude Shrine. Ho ho ho! You'll just be deepening your friendship over some fun games. Once you all had fun enjoying the same experience, I'm sure you'll get along better. I'm sure.
It won't just be you gods either. Humans will join in too to really make this a lively affair. However, we club members never take it easy on opponents, do we?
We'll have to show you plenty of... We'll have to show you plenty of our gratitude for getting us humans caught up in your fight between gods. It's no fun when you gods fight for yourselves and we can't participate. So we'll take this opportunity to teach all three of you that you shouldn't take humans lightly, okay? What fools! Gods will not be defeated in the mere games of man. I'll totally never be defeated by mere humans. Oh-ho? You're challenging the gods? Then we won't hold back either.
Imano Kote was a steady player. Her style focused on defense more than offense, so she should have been a tough opponent. Une was likely to toy with us magnificently using her sly tricks and fluid adaptability. And then Hanyu had her indecipherable dumb luck. She was the greatest opponent in a game involving chance. They were still gods. There's no reason for them to lose a game to humans. However, when it came to games, the club members weren't human either. Yay! Boo, 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 boo. Looks like we fit. Alright, looks like you finished the thing.
Tamura-chan's the dealer she discards first. Know the powerful luck of the gods. I'm discarding a Dream Dragon, declaring double Riichi. Pardon me, Hand of Man, all green, four concealed triplets, single weight. That's 4 Yakumen, or 128,000 points. Con for me too. Hand of Man, 7 pairs, red, door. So just a simple Yakumen for 32,000 points. What? What? Hey, Tamura. Still too early to cry. Triple roans are allowed, right? Then Ron for me too. Hand of Man, big 4 wins, all honors. 4 concealed triplets, single weight. That's 6 Yakumen straight for you for 192,000 points. 3,502 straight from me? That's impossible. God. Oh. There's not enough to pay that, even if we collected all the point sticks from the table. Now, here's your... oh gosh. Here's your punishment game outfit. Oh gosh. Don't understand why I bear such disgrace. Nipa! Poor thing. Still, this is an incredible outfit. What's it even from? Nipa! It's a dream collaboration with blah 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 so she can pretend to be an adult pro wrestler. Ta-da! I'm out. Oh, I'm out too. I'm just 1 card away from being totally out. Hold it. You didn't say Uno. Gah! Super Gah! There, I'm out too. Now I'm out too, Nipa! So now I'm out. Looks like the last place goes to Una-chan. Oh gosh. Gabe, what are you doing? Are you trying to get me in trouble? This outfit's super embarrassing got me. Nipa, poor thing. It's another cool outfit. What is this one from? It's a decent outfit that came up when I googled embarrassing outfits. Nipa! Take me down like you did those two. Oh. So I didn't know about this. It's the game's fault. Okay. It's the game. Curse you, 07th expansion. Try to get Chris Hansen called on me or something. You won't take... and like those did those. Ow. Hello, look a bit of Ragna. Thank you very much for coming in. Game begin. Wolf, please raise your head. Now the fortune teller, please raise your head. Okay, I'm revealing myself. I'm the fortune teller. Hanya-chan is the wolf. Oh, how? So then, with a unanimous vote, our sacrifice for the first day is... decided. We're hanging Hanyu. I didn't even get to participate in the game. Now to have Hanyu on changing to her punishment outfit too. Stop it! You're planning to make me wear something indecent, aren't you? Like something from an erotic doujinshi. Is this better?
I'm not sure.
Oh. I promised the three of us God would get along now, so spare us already. Super repenting too. Oh, so cute. I'm taking you home. Dorfani. I won't accept this. Hey, this is a bop. So let's see. I know there's... Anyway, I hope y'all enjoyed the story Outbreak. Which is part of this volume, and then... Let me see if I can try to figure out... the length on this while the credits are playing.
So... Oh, okay, so then that's... Okay, so I don't think we'll have quite, so there's two... Because there's that, and I know there is then an extra thing, which I'm guessing is going to take place after that. Okay, which I think is that. So... fight start later, whatever fight it is. So we're gonna... I know it hasn't been that long, but... so I think we're gonna have to call it for tonight. So next time we will do this Origin, which was features a prototype version of kind of an intro like prototype version of Higurashi, the Higurashi story, and then there is a short scenario that was part of an after party thing. So, let's find out who to raid out to then. Oh, but I hope you all enjoyed that. Thank you very much for coming. Appreciate that. We'll continue with it next time.